There's a lot of haunted places in St. Pete. There's one bread and breakfast called the Laurel House. We found out that the owners are Larry and Ellen. It was actually built in 1902 by a gentleman by the name of Nimrod. Nimrod and Annie lived there for years and years. Unfortunately, Annie was not in the best of health, and eventually she did end up passing away. And the neighbors were very concerned. It's late at night. They would look up the Widow's Walk in the bread and breakfast there, and there would be Nimrod pacing around and around that Widow's Walk, almost as if he were looking for his beloved Annie. He did end up passing away a couple of years later. Now, Ellen tells a story that she'll be in bed. She goes, I'll be there watching TV, and I've got 2 cats. They'll be sitting on the end of the bed, but they'll always be looking up where the Widow's Walk would be, almost as if they are sensing someone up there pacing around. Now, there's another hotel in town that is also haunted. It's called the Hotel Indigo. A little gal by the name of Sarah Radcliffe, who's a little girl, stayed there on her holidays with her parents. Well, it's said that little Sarah contracted polio. She did eventually die and pass away of complications of polio. Although, during the holiday time periods, little Sarah Radcliffe continues to come and visit the hotel. The people will hear a little girl running up and down the hallways of the 3rd floor. There is another bread and breakfast. It's called the Mansion House. The couple that bought it were from Wales. And they go, well, do you know, before we bought it, it was actually a home for the mentally ill. Up in the 3rd level, they actually built a shock treatment bed. They tried to get that shock treatment bed out. They couldn't get it out through the opening to the attic. So apparently that is still sitting up there today. The Vinoy Hotel is definitely the most haunted, and it's actually all about a lady in white. December 31st, 1925, they had their grand opening. Within 6 months, the lady in white began to appear. Eugene Elliott, his wife Essie, had been living in the hotel for the last few weeks. Knocked on the door later that afternoon, and it was Essie's lawyer giving papers to Mr. Elliott for a divorce. And if that's not bad enough, Essie decided to go home to pick up a few of her items to bring back to the hotel. But something happened, and Essie ended up falling, hurting herself, and actually ended up dying. Well, their housekeeper, Annie Gladstone, saw exactly what happened. She came into town, reported it to the police, and said, no, I saw him push Essie down the steps on that front porch. She hit her head and died. So, Mr. Elliott got another knock on the door about 7 o'clock that evening, because they were there to arrest him for the murder of Essie Elliott. Before the trial, though, could take place, Annie Gladstone, their only eyewitness, had mysteriously disappeared. And without that eyewitness, they had to release Mr. Elliott from jail, and he literally got away with murder. So, do you think that lady in white could be Annie Gladstone? After all, she did disappear, quite coincidentally. Or maybe it is Essie Elliott, still wandering the hotel, looking for Eugene because he got away with murder.